Hello YouTube, Shin Tiger Curl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you the next part in my countdown to Pirate Warriors 3 Let's Play. Last time we looked at the master of thriller bark, Gecko Moria. Now we move on to the most beautiful woman in the world, Boa Hancock. As always, all the information here comes straight from the One Piece wiki, so if you're more interested in these characters and want to learn more about them, just head over to One Piece wiki to find out more about their bios and trivia. But do yourself a favor, read the manga or watch the anime. You won't be disappointed. So with that, let's begin. The Pirate Empress, Boa Hancock, is the only female member of the Seven Warlords of the Sea. She is also the Snake Princess of Amazon Lily and rules over the Kuja tribe with her two younger Gorgon sisters, Boa Sandersani and Boa Marigold. She is the main antagonist of the Amazon Lily arc. She was first mentioned by the Risky brothers at the end of the Thriller Bark arc when comparing her beauty to that of the beauty of the mermaids. She is considered by many individuals to be the most beautiful woman in the world. While she currently remains employed with the Seven Warlords, her love for Monkey D. Luffy has caused her to turn against the world government on a number of occasions, thus putting her status as a warlord at risk. Personality. Boa Hancock is a very complex woman. At first glance, she appears to be a selfish, pompous, spoiled, and used to having her own way. She can also act arrogant and cruel, usually justifying her less than admirable actions with her apparently unmatched beauty, causing her to think that she can get away with anything because the world will forgive her, and save for the handful of being able to resist, she is largely successful in this approach, with gleeful suitors of both genders happily forgiving her for her every transgression. She also made it seem that she did not think much of the Kuja tribe, either as she commented to Elda Neon that she did not care if the island was destroyed or not, since everyone would forgive her anyway because she is beautiful. Because of her beauty and strength, she is used to seeing men and women alike, young and old, fall in love with her instantly. As a result, people forgive if she acts cutely apologetic or reminds them of her beauty. However, when Luffy came along and displayed a complete immunity to her charms, she initially felt that she could not bear the existence of someone completely invulnerable to her powers and would collapse dramatically when insulted. This feeling eroded away, though, as she loves Luffy despite his immunity to her. Even after the 2-year time skip, Hancock continues to be in love with Luffy as much as before, despite the latter openly rejecting her wedding proposals many times. It was revealed the reason for Hancock's lies and attitude towards life was that because of her horrible past, she did not want to ever show weakness before anyone again. She harbored a great fear of getting close to anyone other than her own sisters, and would go as far as to deceive all the other Kuja. This has caused her surrogate mother, Elder Neon, to fear that Hancock would truly turn as cold as ice. It wasn't until Hancock confessed everything to Luffy that she finally showed emotion, breaking down in tears after reliving her painful memories. Deep down, Hancock is a rather sensitive and vulnerable woman who is afraid and concerned of how other people, especially the other Kuja, might react to the truth of the shameful past that she and her sister share. She is also much more soft and compassionate towards others when she opens up. That part of her is only first shown for the first time in several years in front of Monkey D. Luffy, and she has not only befriended him but also fallen deeply in love with him. When agreeing to venture to the land of her suffering from her former slave days at the request for his brother. Hancock is shown to be very sly and crafty when the situation demands it. This is particularly evident when she aided Monkey D. Luffy into discreetly breaking into Impel Down's outer defenses, as well as manipulating the Great Prison's warden, Magellan, to her whims before relaying a secret message to Luffy's brother Ace, whom Luffy was trying to rescue. She is also proven to be a very skilled liar who is excellent at fabricating stories, and her confidence leads her to never consider the consequences of her actions. An example of this is when she takes advantage of her beauty in Impel Down Floor 6 to drive the prisoners mad, making them disrespect Magellan and causing enough trouble to speak to Ace freely without anyone noticing. All of her arrogance seems to vanish when Luffy is on her mind, though. Whenever he is in her presence, she quickly turns shy, barely able to meet him in the eye, and gleaming over his every action he takes. Even when it's not notable, or even when he's not nearby, merely thinking of him causes her to blush and truly smile in the way the other Kuja have said is unusual for her. Despite the conceit she shows towards her enemies and the facade she puts on for her people, she does show genuine care for the people closest to her. This is shown when she flew into a fit of rage and kicked Smoker away from Luffy after he tried to kill him. Ignoring the possible consequences of her actions, she openly and publicly declared Luffy to be her beloved, effectively choosing her love over her title in her people's treaty. During her fury, she shows none of her usual calm arrogance. This again is seen to a lesser extent when she screams at Aokiji for stabbing Luffy with an ice spear. Her anger is enough to make even Jinbei cower in fear, albeit slightly and in a comedic manner. Hancock's time with Luffy has changed her personality considerably since before. She has now started to treat others, even some men, with more kindness and respect. She has come to understand that not all men are the same, and even allowed Law and his crew to dock at the edge of her island, and chose to lift her country's laws somewhat. She also stated to treat her fellow Kujas with as much more kindness and respect, and even decided to do work with them, such as to help make food for Luffy, rather than just ordering them to do it as usual. Neon and even her sisters have become amazed at how much she's changed since she fell in love with Luffy. While referring to herself, Hancock uses the phrase "wari wa," an antiquated pronoun that signifies nobility, instead of the more common "watashi wa," literally meaning "I am." Hancock has two running gags about her. First is when she looks down at people, she leans back so that she faces the ceiling or the sky above her, apparently looking down on people so much that she is looking up. The second is that she appears to dislike small animals, in which she angrily asks who left the animal in front of her while she's walking before kicking it away, no matter how cute it is. Akuja responsibly apologizes while the offending animal snarls at her, and Hancock advises her to be more careful in the future. Abilities and powers. Boa Hancock is widely considered to be an extremely powerful fighter by friend and foe alike. Ruling beside her sisters, Hancock has power over Amazon Lily and the rest of the Kuja tribe. As the Empress and captain of the tribe, she's most likely the strongest Kuja warrior. The Kuja believe that strength is beauty, and since all members of the tribe state that she is the most beautiful in the world, they believe that she is very powerful and the strongest in the entire tribe. It is to be noted that only the strongest Kuja warriors are allowed in the country's pirate crew. Hancock and her sisters were strong enough to be there when they were just small children, although it is possible they were just apprentices like Shanks and Buggy. Her strength is so great that it is even acknowledged by the fleet admiral of the time, Sengoku of the Marines. Even former Admiral Kuzan commented on her skills, stating that she is not to be underestimated. Further testament to her strength is how she was one of three warlords who managed to leave the war without sustaining any injuries at all. The fact that she can earn an 80 million berry bounty after her first campaign as a pirate further supports her capabilities. This is shown that when she's managed to destroy several pacifista single-handedly by petrifying them beforehand, the incredibly tough alloy in which they are composed of, without showing signs of exhaust or injury. Where it took the entire Straw Hat crew, before their 2-year training, to take down just one, which left them severely worn out. While it is true that the pacifistas were programmed not to attack their allies, to destroy so many of them is a difficult task regardless. Hancock is quite skilled at subterfuge and deception, managing to disguise Luffy inside of her coat without eliciting much suspicion across an entire boat voyage to Impale Down, as well as being the sister to propose to spread the tale of the Gorgon curse to prevent her subordinates from discovering the humiliating brand of enslavement on their backs over a period of decades. Hancock is also very intelligent, sly, and crafty when the situation demands it, being able to buy Luffy time using her charms after overhearing Magellan's plan to halt his infiltration and manage to manipulate events in level 6 of Impaled Down by creating a commotion between the resident prisoners and a protective Magellan to speak to Port Gas D. Ace in private and not attracting the attention, as well as stealing the keys to Ace's sea stone handcuffs for Luffy prior to his arrival, knowing that it would be useful. She is shown to be very adept in hand-to-hand combat, often in tandem with her devil fruit powers. She's able to fight through many of the New World pirates effortlessly. Similar to Sanji's fighting style, Hancock seems to prefer kick-based attacks, whether from kicking in the way of cute animals or her enemies. Though she's stronger in short-range combat, Hancock is also adept at long-range combat and is capable of using her powers to strike her enemies from a long distance. Physical abilities. Her raw strength is immense, obviously showing signs of superhuman strength as she can easily break stone in the form of her petrified opponents with a single kick, capable of breaking several pacifistas without breaking a sweat, while Sanji nearly broke his leg attempting the same task, though she used her Marrow powers in turn to turn them into stone, and is able to kick Smoker with his stone in his smoke state using her Haki. Although all those examples, she could have been using Bushushoku Haki to strengthen her kicks. Devil Fruit. Hancock ate the Mera fruit, a Paramecia-class devil fruit, by force by the world nobles who enslaved her as a form of sick entertainment. Those who fall in love with Hancock by seduction are susceptible to a range of techniques used by the devil fruit which turn people to stone, from short and long range. Anyone with, quote, dirty thoughts will be turned to stone as long as they do not have a means to block it out, either emotionally, like with fear or pain, or simply out of ignorance. Other than that, she has the same standard weaknesses of the other devil fruit users. As part of a secret that kept the shame on her back a secret, Hancock made the Kuja believe that the power to turn people to stone was a curse given to her by killing a Gorgon monster. Haki. Hancock has demonstrated two types of Haki: Bushushoku Haki, one of the more common types used in the series, and Haoshoku Haki, an ability that only 1 in a million people can use. She's shown using Bushushoku Haki to kick Smoker and damage him while he had Luffy pinned to the ground. As she possesses Haoshoku Haki, it can be assumed that she can knock out a large number of individuals, with the exception of strong-willed people, with a massive burst. Her exact level of mastery with this ability is yet to be demonstrated. Weapon. Salome. She carries with her an extra-large white snake with red marks on its body named Salome, that wears a skull with blue hair jutting out the back and a constant smile. However, aside from using it as a throne as well as to elevate herself above battle, changing itself into a spiral while doing so, she has yet to use it in actual combat. It has the ability to track and sense things on the ocean floor, which is shown to be able to sense Whitebeard's earthquake before it arrived, and when it helped Hancock follow Trafalgar Law's submarine. And that was Boa Hancock's profile. 13 minutes overall. Not bad for this woman. So, anyway, tune in next time as we go from one unique warlord to another, as we look at the only fishman to ever become a warlord, Jinbei. If you like what you've heard, link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions, comments, or just want to talk One Piece? Leave it below. I'll get back to you. You want to show some support for the channel? Just give it a nice little kiss to that like button, or just click on one of the advertisements that are scattered around this video. They all really do help out. Or if you just want to donate directly, the tip jar is up there. You know what to do. So until next time, this has been Shin Tiger Curl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good day, and you will forgive me because I am beautiful.